So this is week 3 of working with Franklin. We're layering on more things that we haven't started yet. We are continuing to progress with some things that we have done. So this is actually an exercise called a behavioral down. This is an exercise, it's sped up now, but essentially I'm saying there is nothing for you to do, so I want you to choose to do nothing. Franklin was extremely anxious at the first house that he was in. He would pace, he wasn't able to relax, he would spin in circles. This exercise is just me stepping on the leash and saying, there's nothing for you to do. I'm not going to pet you. I'm not going to look at you. The whole goal is just to get him to lay down and choose to relax. He doesn't quite get there in the amount of time that I was filming, but he does eventually. I'm looking for him to lay down and not be engaging with his environment anymore. You can see he bounces around back and forth, and that's very normal for dogs at the beginning of this. Another thing that we started working with and expanding on is double barriers. So he is in a new area of our house. You can see there's two baby gates set up. His back is to our dogs. He's expressing discomfort. He has been in the vicinity of our dogs. He's been on walks with our dogs. Our dogs completely ignore new dogs. New dogs are totally normal to them. You can see Taz comes by and he sniffs Taz. We like to see that curiosity. I don't want to see any fixation either from the dog inside of the crate or the dogs outside. I would never allow my dogs to fixate, especially in this really tight space that he's in. That would be extremely unfair to him. But all my dogs are being nice and respectful, and he's showing some curiosity. Other things we've been able to expand on this week with Franklin include play. So I'm trying to see if I can introduce toys to him. He likes using his mouth, so I'd love to give him something appropriate that he can use his mouth on. Let's take out some of his excitement and his frustration and his energy with toys. He wasn't showing any interest in the toys that I had, so I started seeing if he was interested in playing with my hands at all. And when I started doing that, he said, okay. You can see I cut there. Also, just to show that we are continuing to work on, this is also sped up, but we're continuing to work on petting exercises, extending that. But look how still he still is when I stop petting him. He's not that loose, wiggly dog. He still feels some discomfort from petting. So I'm just trying to, there we go. I'm slowly increasing that duration, watching his body language, watching his tension. He has asked for this touching, but you can still tell that it makes him uncomfortable. My ultimate goal is to make touching actually pleasant for him, not something that's emotionally loaded. So he asks for pets again, and I'm happy to oblige. We have also expanded to bringing him on some pack walks. So he's walking next to me and also my dog Taz that you saw in that previous video. Taz is really good at playing with dogs who are appropriate, but also just ignoring them if it's not the situation to play. I'm not requiring Franklin to walk in a heel, but he is required to walk on a loose leash. So we were walking, I stop. I do want my dogs to be able to check in with me when I stop, so I've been rewarding him for checking in with me, because we're usually the last thing on our dog's minds on a walk. They have other stuff that they want to do. They want to sniff, they want to go have fun, he wants to mark everything. So I've been trying to make myself relevant on walks. There you can see I get some nice attention in a sit, so he gets rewarded for this as well. We are continuing to expand on our muzzle conditioning, so I'm trying to increase the duration of time that we are working on this with Franklin. So I'm actually doing a keep going marker, essentially, keep going signal. So I've added a repetitive noise, essentially, that's indicating to him that he is on the right track. It can be particularly helpful for some dogs, and you can see I'm also adding difficulty, not only duration-wise, but also I'm starting to move those straps around. Eventually, those straps have to go over his head. So I'm starting to add distractions. I'm moving the straps around. I also moved the straps forward. The first couple of weeks and days, I had the straps pulled back. Now the straps actually touch the side of his face. You can see I'm doing multiple reps of that. I'm not bothering to clip it yet. That's not my main goal. I'm distracting him with the treat. So I'm seeing how committed is he to this behavior. Ideally, I want him to want to hold his face in there. I want it to be worthwhile for him. And we are continuing to work on play, always working on play. He's expressing an interest in playing with me. I will oblige him. So I'm able to play with him a little bit standing up. And obviously I also switched down to sitting on the ground at his level. He is loving this. Yes, I am letting him bite me. That might seem a little bit unorthodox. It might seem counterintuitive for a dog who's really bitey, but he's learning a little bit about pressure. So you can see I put a little bit of pressure on there and he chose to stop and he walked away. Fantastic lesson for him to learn. I want him to want to leave a situation if he feels a little bit too much pressure, as opposed to going right to biting. Also, he's really not putting any pressure on me with his mouth. Every time he mouths me, there's a fantastic amount of control. I'm also being able to put more pressure on him, and he's actually enjoying it. Look how loose and wiggly he is when I'm touching all over his face, all over his chest, all over his back. I can touch his tail, I can touch his feet, and he loves it. He's so into it. His body language is really nice. He's inviting it. He's taking those little pauses. He's playing like a really smart dog, so I love to see this. So he's doing a great job as far as that goes. More than likely, play is how we're going to break through to him and get him more okay with touch. And there he is taking a break.